In a world of cases, you have small cases, you got medium cases, you got big cases, you got metal cases, you got plastic cases, you got glass cases, so many. How do you know which one fits your needs? Well, that's what we're here for, right? So, how do you know which case demands design? By picking a case from the future. So, talking about future, this case will be a case that looks like it's actually made from the year 2050. Alright, but no, we're only in the year 2021. So this is the CoolerMaster TD500 Master Box case. We're gonna check it out and let's find out. Hey guys, this is Chester here. Welcome to our channel where we do tech unboxings, reviews and more. Today we'll be taking a look at the CoolerMaster TD500. This is a case that is not just for function. Let me give you that first. If you are looking for a cheap case that just does the work, go and find a case that has cheaper ones. This is not for you. This is for a case for people who appreciate that beauty, who wants to embrace the beauty in a beautiful case. Alright, so what do I mean by that? Let's open it up. Okay, so let's take a look. So because we are reviewing a computer case, so I do apologize if sometimes the items are out of frame because it's so big, right? That's what she said. Okay, so anyway, opening it up. Oh, this is heavy. Anyway, before we talk about the case, let's talk about a bit of the packaging. So the packaging is good. Yeah, it has a relatively strong styrofoam base. Why do I keep emphasizing on styrofoam? Because if the styrofoam is on lousy material and you move it around, it's not going to hold up the weight of a full desktop. So it's going to break and your desktop is going to break and you're going to waste money. So I always emphasize to have a good packing material so that when you bring it around, it will not, you won't have anything happening. So included here is your accessories page. So you'll find the list of accessories with the instruction manual on how to install your system. Very, very useful if you're doing this for the first time. Yeah. Let's take out the plastic packaging. See that? You see that? You see that? Yeah. Anyway, it's a sneak preview. And look at it! Look at its beauty! Woo! By the way, you can't really see this in a camera, but this is actually 3D. This is not a picture that it looks like it's 2D. This picture actually looks 3D. Something unique which I've actually never seen in other cases before is the side panel itself is also 3D. Now this is not picture, this is there's an actual groove to it. Yeah, so it's really very awesome. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through the base real quick on what this case has to offer. So this is a mid-tower with tempered glass. It's white in color with a mesh at the front. So your regular TD500 actually has a glass front, but the TD500 mesh, which is this one, it has a mesh front, which means that when you put the fans there, right, it will actually allow more air to come in. More on that later. Okay, talking about fans, front actually supports up to 3 120mm fans. Okay, but here's the thing, they actually provide all 3 for you in front. So if you can see in front, right, they actually, you can see that all 3 fans are actually provided. So something rare from CoolerMaster actually. So how do you remove the front panel, right? You can actually see there's a ridge here. Yeah. So if I'm not wrong, okay, let me try to put it back in. Yeah. It's actually screwed by the way, so it's not using pressure. So you can actually just remove it like that. But don't bend it all the way or otherwise you'll damage the thing here. Okay, so let me just put the side panel down. It's heavy by the way, so please be careful with it. Put the side panel down. Now let's have a closer look at inside the case. Okay, so the case, as mentioned, at the front it supports 3 times 120mm fans, At the top, it supports, back to the front. It also supports either 320mm fans or 240mm fans. Okay, at the top it supports 320mm fans or the same, or 240mm fans. Also included is this magnetic fan filter. So if you don't need it, if you want more airflow, you can remove it. But if you want to have more dust filtration, you leave it on. But just for now, we're just going to remove it first. Okay, so you can see here something unique is that something unique on not many cases is the screw holes at the top is not a single circle, which means that you can actually adjust the location of the fan in proportion to where your heat generating source is. So for example, if let's say your CPU is somewhere here, okay, it doesn't really make sense for a fan to be here, right? So if your CPU is here, it makes more sense for the fan to be here so that you can direct more airflow more efficiently. Let's see, so we have 3 here, and at the rear, it supports one 120mm fan. Yeah. Okay, and that's it for fans. Okay, in terms of expansion slots, so it supports 7 expansion slots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is good enough for 2 graphic cards because nowadays graphics cards they have more than 2 slots of space. Yep. So in terms of drive base, okay, so let's remove the rear panel. One thing I like, right, is that you don't need to completely remove the screws. You just need to unscrew them long enough and then you can just slide out the panel. Okay, same thing, I'm gonna put it in the back. At the rear, you have your standard rubber grommets, which is very good for your cable management and stuff. Okay, all your cables are over here, which we'll talk about in a short while. You have your accessories. Okay, so for the accessories, you have your standard zip ties. Okay, you have your RGB controller for the fans. This all 3 fans that is included is ARGB, which means that they have power and another cable for your RGB. But if let's say your motherboard doesn't support ARGB feature, you can actually just connect to this box. You can actually control the lighting via just this box. But do take note, it will use up one of your SATA connectors. Okay, you have more rubber grommets and screws for your motherboards and extra stuffs. Adapter for the motherboard standoff. Okay, silica gel. And talking about cables, let's see what's included. We have a lot of cables, huh? So first and foremost, you have your ARGB cables. So what CoolerMaster has already done is they have already pre-installed a splitter, a 3-way splitter, so that you don't need to connect 3 power cables and 3 ARGB cables. So you just need to connect 1 power and 1 ARGB and it's good to go. Nice. Okay, and over here you will have your USB 3 cable because the top we'll talk about in a short time. Your front connectors, your front I/O cables. This is a power cable. This is the HD audio, the I/O front panel audio. Okay, let's talk about the front panel. So the front panel, you have 2 USB 3, okay, and a 3.5mm headphone jack and 3.5mm microphone jack, power switch and reset switch. Very straightforward. Okay, so if not, let's going back to the main area of the case. Okay, going back to the main area of the case, you have a giant hole for installing your cooler and everything for your motherboard. Very nice. Okay, and all the rubber grommets and holes and everything, PSU front shroud and everything. So just now I was saying about the mini tower, micro tower, everything. So let's talk about it now. So this supports mini ITX. So over here, it supports standard ATX over here, and it supports extended ATX to some extent, right? So over here. But you need to install the appropriate rubber standoffs lah. So in terms of clearance, okay, for the graphics card, it supports up to 410mm. The CPU, it supports up to 165mm. And for the power supply, it supports up to 180mm. The weight, it's about 7 kg. Okay, but let's talk about the dimensions for in case some of you guys who have a smaller room. The length in total, it is about 49 cm. It is about 19 inches. Okay, the width, it is about 20 cm, that's about 8 inches, and last but not least, the height. It is 47 cm, which is 8.5 inches. All in all, this is a very capable chassis that will deliver a lot of your requirements. It's a very nice, and honestly it's very beautiful to look at. And if you want this desktop to be a showpiece of your house, this case will be one of the better recommendations that I will personally recommend. That's it for this unboxing of the CoolerMaster TD500 Mesh White color. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. I'm Chester, that's all for today. See you guys.